fat over lean. So fat refers to the amount of oil that you have on your painting or in your paint, and lean refers to a body of paint that has less oil in it. So basically what it means that you need to start with a layer that contains less oil, and you put over that layer a layer that contains more oil. The one thing that you really have to pay attention to is to not put a first layer that will dry slower than the top layer. If that's the first layer, it's here on your painting, and you put a second layer on that first layer. If the first layer will take more time to dry, it will still move. And if the top layer dry faster, it will create a hard surface, and then this layer will keep moving, and then your top layer will start to crack because the bottom layer still dries while the top layer is already dry and hard. So the paint film will not resist the movement of the oil paint that is underneath. So that's the most important thing to understand. In oil paint, you absolutely need that your first layer dry faster than the top layer. So it's not only the first layer, but all the layers that are underneath the top layer needs to dry faster. And so that's why we say fat over lean, because any layer that is called the lean, that has less oil in the paint film, will dry faster. And that way the first layer dries, then the second layer has time to dry, and so on. So the last layer can contain as much fat as you want, but the first layers needs to dry faster. Let's go to the easel. I will quickly show you how it works. So here now, this is my medium here. Here, for the moment, in my medium, there is only mineral spirit. This is a bottle of mineral spirit. This is a bottle of linseed oil. Here, this is called a lean medium because there is no fat in it. There is no oil in that medium. Here, this is called a fat medium because this only oil. So oil contains fat. So here, I'm gonna put a little bit of mineral spirit. So here, by having my medium that is only mineral spirit, I have a lean medium, no fat. So the only fat here for the moment is in my paint. Alright, so this is my medium and it's only mineral spirit, so that's lean. This, the only fat that is present is in my paint because the paint contains oil, so it's fat. So now, if I don't use any medium, I just use paint like that, my layer, like you see here, what I'm doing, it's very thin. If I go directly to add an amount of paint like that, this is already a lot of fat here, so this is gonna take time to dry. And on top of that, if I add that much paint in my first layer, this is gonna be very hard for me to add paint on top. You see, it's gonna create a mess like that. It's gonna be very hard for me to add paint on top. So it's very important to stay thin at the first layer. So now I'm taking a bit of my medium, not too much. I dip my brush, and here now I have mineral spirit on my palette. So if I grab a bit of paint, I mix it with the mineral spirit. Now I can create my brush stroke. I can create them without the worries of being too fat. This is a lean first layer. It has a lot of mineral spirit. The mineral spirit will dry pretty fast. You don't need to put as much mineral spirit here. I'm just showing you, so I exaggerate a little bit. I usually put less mineral spirit when I start a painting. But this here, you see, this is a pretty lean first layer. So this layer will dry fast. Then on top of it, if I add paint now, a thick brush stroke, the brush stroke that I just added contains more fat because there is less mineral spirit and there is more paint. In the paint there is already linseed oil. So this layer here, the blue stroke, is already fatter than this wash here that I have, the first layer that I have. So basically this is lean and this is fat. So we have the principle respected, fat over lean. This is all you need to know basically. And I hope it's already clear in your mind, but if it's not clear, watch the video again and just start painting. And it's really by starting painting that you will understand this principle very, very well, and it will not be a problem for you anymore. So fat over lean, more paint over less paint, or more mineral spirit over less mineral spirit. And you can also then in your top layer you can also add, like I add it here directly on my palette because I don't have my my other jar ready. But here now, if I add oil and I take some paint, so this even if it's diluted, it will be fatter than the first layer because there is more oil. Here there's a lot of oil, so usually I don't paint like that, but it's just to show you that this will be a fatter layer. So it will dry slower than my first layer. The blue layer will dry slower. This is respected. If I start like that with a lot of oil and then I try to go over with some more paint, it might work. But it's gonna be very hard to manipulate because my first layer contains already a lot of oil or a lot of fat, and then I'm not sure which one is gonna dry faster. So your first layer should always be leaner than the rest, the other layer that comes on top. I hope this is clear. I hope I expressed myself correctly. And again, that's more or less how my my first layer look. There is more mineral spirit or not at all, just the paint like that, like I showed you before. You don't have to use mineral spirit. You can use just regular paint. You just try to not do your first layer too thick. If you go like that, that's fine, like this. And then on top of it, I can add more paint. And if I add more paint on top of that, you see, it works good. It covers the area very well. Then you can choose a thicker brush stroke or leaner brush stroke that's your own preference. But basically that's the principle. That's very much the principle of fat over lean. So really basically it comes down to understand that when you start a painting, do not put too much paint and then add more paint as you add more layer. And again, that will depend on your style. If you want to add super thick brush strokes at the beginning, it's possible. But you know, it really depends what you do. But if you paint like me from life and try to depict an impression of realistic subject, it's very, very recommended to start thin and then to add more paint on top of it. Even without medium, you start thin and you add more paint. If you use a medium, it's good to use more mineral spirit or solvent at the beginning and less mineral spirit at the end and more oil, but you don't have to. When I paint outside, I use only mineral spirit, and for my layer that comes on top of my first layer, I just don't put mineral spirit no more. I put less at least, and I take mostly just paint, because in the paint we already have linseed oil, so this is already fat. So I hope I was clear. Please let me know if you have any more question about this or other principle of oil paint. I'm here to help you. So if you have any question, please put them in the comment below. If you don't have a question, please just comment. It's also very helpful for the channel. Just say hi or anything like that. It's very pleasant to read your comment and it's very helpful for the channel. Like and subscribe. This is also very, very helpful. More to come on the channel. There is more things to come on the channel. This playlist, I'm almost to the end of that playlist, starting oil painting. We will switch after to another playlist about color mixing. I will keep documenting my my plein air painting and my studio painting. This is really something I like. So yeah, I hope this helps, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video.